Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here on this Friday, recapping First Alert Safety Desk stories. As you can see on your screen there, we will get your ticker at the bottom there so you can see the temperatures at this hour. And as you can see there, 43 degrees right now, 8:12 on this Friday morning. Got a lot going on. Obviously, we have the opening for gun deer season starting in the morning. Lots of hunters already out this morning. We had lots of live coverage of that during Action 2 News this morning. But as far as our safety desk stories go, this is a few of the stories I want to get to. So if you're just joining us, make sure you tune in and say good morning in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what your weekend plans are if you're going to be hunting, or maybe you know someone who's going to be hunting. We're going to go through some of the safety tips. As you can see here, how to defend your home against winter. A couple winter stories. We had the snow yesterday. Thankfully, things have cleared up as far as the roads go, at least for driving conditions. I know hunters are probably bummed, but that's just the way things have shaped up this week. So we will start there. I'm going to pull up some of the details. Defending your home against winter was one of those stories that we talked about at the First Alert Safety Desk this week, ahead of actually the snow. So it kind of came right in time because it was Winter Weather Awareness Week. And if you go to our website, you'll see a lot more. This is just a few of the tips. And so Wisconsin Emergency Management, they say that 45 cold-related deaths in the state happened last winter. Also, over 860 people visited the emergency rooms. There were 225 hospitalizations statewide due to cold-related illnesses. So obviously, you know, extreme cold can be really dangerous. It can make you sick. You can deal with hypothermia. So getting your home really important to do if you can. So some of the tips there: insulating any water lines that run along exterior walls so your water supply is less likely to freeze, sealing those cracks and weather strip drafty doors and windows, installing storm windows and insulated doors. All of those tips there. A couple that you don't see on your screen: repairing your roof leaks, cut away tree branches that could fall in your home or other structures. We know that things can get really windy. We just saw that yesterday, actually. And then in case you have to hunker down in severe weather, having things on hand. For example, candles and matches, just in case. You want to have a battery-operated radio and extra batteries, high-calorie, non-perishable food. Granola bars, always a good idea. First aid kit, some blankets as well. We also have a link on our website, which I could pull up if you'd like, but I'll show you in just a moment some of those stories, and then we'll get to that. But the story itself does have a link to the emergency supply kit for your vehicle, and Maria in First Alert Traffic has talked about that throughout the week as well. So if you want to take a look and maybe do a checklist, maybe make sure you have some of those things in your vehicle in case you get stranded, in case you are involved in a crash, all of that, really important to take a look at that if you can. Another one right here, as far as winter routine stuff goes, I'm actually going to close out of that and show it to you on our First Alert website here. So if you go to the Safety Desk tab, you scroll down right here, go to that story that says Road Safety Reminders for Winter Routine. and you'll see a couple of those tidbits like slowing down, even if you don't see snow, sticking to the pavement, not using cruise control, leaving plenty of distance between you and other vehicles. And we saw just yesterday how many crashes and all the things that happened yesterday as far as first responders having to report to the scene. So just keep that in mind. These safety reminders before you head out during this winter season. Again, mentioning the gusty winds yesterday was a factor with the winds too. And then the snow, so the low visibility. There was slush on the roads. There was even black ice. We started talking about that with the Leo Frigo Bridge yesterday and other bridges. So keeping some of that in mind. This is really about the mindset, getting back into the habit of doing all of that. And as far as your vehicle, making sure that your fuel tank is at least half full during the winter, and making sure your tires are good to go, the tread, and proper inflation. So whether it's yesterday or just moving forward now, preparing also for power outages. We spoke to WPS, hearing a little bit about the power outages that happened yesterday because of those high winds. So we do have some more information on our website there, wbay.com, if you want to take a look at that. Another story that I wanted to get into, as I mentioned at the very beginning, go back here and scroll down because it is going to be the start of gun deer season in the morning. So we did this story right here on Action 2 News this morning, preventing heart attacks. Really important for hunters to think about that. When you're going long distances, you're walking far, dragging an animal, that can increase your heart rate and induce heart attacks. So taking those breaks when you need to, very, very important to do that, especially if you didn't physically get to prepare during the off season. So making sure that you keep that in mind, listening to your body, that sort of thing. But then also checking for ticks if you're out in the woods. So we've got a couple of those tips for hunters. We did both for hunters and non-hunters. Actually, we do have the report here. This is for Michigan, but we've got so many different people that report heart attacks or incidents. We talked about firearm safety too, if you want to take a look at that. We talked about getting a generator at your deer camp. You can get a battery powered carbon monoxide detector as well. So if you have a generator, by the way, at your deer camp, making sure that it's 20 feet away from any people or structures, so away from your tree stand, away from your cabin, things like that. Also important to let everybody know about your plans. Never head out on a hunting trip without letting somebody know where you're going and when you plan to be back. And then for the safety of the deer population, we also talked this morning about the DNR still suggesting that you get your deer tested for chronic wasting disease. But for firearm safety, I'll go back to that just real quick. Remembering to treat every firearm as if it's loaded, only pointing at what you plan to shoot, keeping your finger off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and clearly identifying your target and what's beyond it. We've made a lot of progress in recent years as far as spreading awareness about firearm safety during the hunting season, so that is really great. We heard that from the DNR. So there were actually no hunting-related deaths in Wisconsin last year, but there were still some firearm incidents. So just something to keep in mind as maybe you or somebody you know goes out into the woods in the morning. Those are the bigger stories, and we'll go back to our website here just real quick to show you. The very top, you see the tab, the safety desk tab. That's where all of these stories that we just went over are. We have non-hunter safety for gun deer season 2. That's really about maybe taking walks with your dog. If you do, making sure that it's not anywhere where hunters are going to be, making sure that you have blaze orange or pink on as well, not just hunters. So we did some of that. And then also this scam about professional licenses. If you have one, I would definitely recommend reading that story. It's really interesting, and making sure that that doesn't happen to you. We talked about this Project Lifesaver for families dealing with a loved one who has dementia. Green Bay Police, they have these bracelets that are really helpful that could help find your loved one. People with dementia sometimes are prone to wandering, so these bracelets are really handy, and they can help authorities find your loved one very quickly, actually. So take a look at that if you'd like. And then we talked about that recall with carrots. Brown County Public Health really urging you to check your carrots, your fridge for carrots that might be contaminated with E. coli, and then a couple of the other ones that I just mentioned. So we just wanted to recap quickly some of these bigger stories from the First Alert Safety Desk, and I'll go back to seeing what we've got here on our Facebook. Good morning to you, Jody. Thanks for being here. For all of those stories and more, you could just go right onto Wbay.com. We're going to have another live report on the air here in just a few minutes. I'll go do that, and then make sure you tune in for Action 2 News mid-morning at 9. Keith is with us doing the forecast for the weekend. A lot of hunters obviously wondering what it's going to be like, but for all of us, make sure you tune in for the latest news and weather here at 9 very soon. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend.